I'm Oba Dokun Thompson, the Oloni of Etioni in Osun State, Nigeria. I'm here at the Lu Center in Luton at the Beyond Wealth Conference. Well, I don't know whether to say this is good, but I was the first speaker and we're halfway through now having lunch. It's been a great day so far. I've had Indidi and Erica also speak. Normally when I speak, I try to speak a lot about definitions and identity. And the reason why I said definition is one of the challenges we have is the fact that we do not know how to define things or processes or systems for the purpose of creating wealth. And the only way we can achieve that is to be able to define whatever we have, our resources, ourselves, our inputs, even our energy for anything for the purpose of creating value that can create wealth. And I believe the participants had an opportunity to hear me out, and it's amazing what's happening here. We have Africans or African descent in strategic places in the UK, doing good things, doing great things. Regulatory consultants, real estate consultants, and I'm looking forward to hearing the rest. Thank you.
Well, can I introduce His Royal Majesty, Oba Dokun Thompson, who is the King of Etioni town in Osun State in Nigeria, and he also runs the Cocoa Festival. They are the largest producers of cocoa in Africa, and he's doing a lot on wealth building as well. I'm sure he'll say a little bit more about himself and also about building wealth as well.
Where do I start from? First, it's supposed to be 1:15. It seems like Dr. Monica has used some sort of style to extend my timing.
We're trying to push ahead of schedule.
Good afternoon, everyone. I actually thought I was running late because I had to come in from somewhere South London and then to get onto the M1, driving myself and everything, but it's all good. When Dr. Monica asked me to come here, she didn't initially say I was going to speak. She said I should just come and observe, and I actually came to observe, and then she said, you need to speak because of what you're doing. And I'm like, what am I really doing? Because again, when we're talking beyond wealth, we need to have a particular kind of understanding of what we're trying to achieve. A lot of times, I'm going to be speaking from the African perspective, which is where we have a lot of challenges. And that's part of the reasons why I'm also doing what I'm doing. The biggest challenge we have as Africans is to be able to define anything. I'm sure everybody's trying to understand what I mean. A lot of times, we see wealth as riches, or riches as wealth. So how do we now break down wealth? How do we break down riches? What can riches achieve, or what can wealth achieve? That is the real problem of where we are today, or where we found ourselves. So the only way to be able to define wealth, right, to be able to achieve what this conference is about, when it comes to about beyond wealth, right, now leaves us to also define what we understand by life. Is it about existence? Is it about living from hand to mouth? Is it about living day to day? Is it about handing over anything? And then even if I go further, is it about when you die? I mean, let's talk, I know as Africans, we're always afraid of that word death. So when we die, what happens next? I found out from my own definition and understanding and how I have been able to develop or program myself is that I can actually live after death. And the only way you can actually live after death is to be able to have a good understanding of what beyond wealth means and how to create that wealth. What am I? I'm saying that the only way you can live life after death is by leaving some sort of legacy that would impact people from generation to generation to centuries, possibly thousands of years after you're long gone. And a bit of your life remains in people several generations after you. I run the cocoa festival in Nigeria. We have the oldest cocoa plantation in the country. Every time people say, oh, we want to give you a Lifetime Achievement Award, it's been on for what, 6 years, and I'm wondering, what have I really done? I haven't achieved anything. I haven't even scratched the surface. And I'm not into awards. I have an assignment to carry out, and I will do it. It is not because I have done anything, but because my great-grandfather, over 120, 30 years ago, started something. So my great-grandfather is still living in me. His name still exists because he did not think about that moment. He thought about beyond himself. Probably he didn't even, we can say he probably didn't think that 100 years after this would be happening. But again, we can say he actually saw it. This was a man during war said, rather than give up an inch of our land, I would I will continue to fight till I drop dead in the battlefield. So life for him, or achieving anything for him, was not about himself. It was about generations unborn. It was about a legacy. It was about giving definition to something that seemed a bit like a mirage or an illusion. He brought it into reality. How do we define things? How do we create identities? We need to, first of all, as Africans, we have a problem. There's a vision, okay? And in every vision, there's several missions. But as Africans, everybody wants to have a vision. So you have this mutation whereby things just start collapsing because everybody has an idea, people find it difficult plugging into anybody's vision. But they don't really understand that within that vision, those missions can also be broken down into sub-missions, and each one may be a particular type of vision that doesn't need to come out of that picture, the overall picture. But what it's supposed to do is to, you have not necessarily a limit, but there is a purpose for every particular person. There is a purpose for every objective. There's a purpose for every situation. And only certain individuals with a particular type of mindset or understanding or capacity can fit into certain roles. But what do? We lose everything. Every time I speak, I am not sure I know in settings like this, especially when we're in Europe, we need to be very, very careful about our faith, but I'm never careful about my faith. I'm a Christian, okay? And the number one thing to be able to build wealth or beyond wealth is to know who you are. I was always taught that a good name is better than gold and silver. Even when the poor man or the crippled man spoke with a disciple of Christ, he said, go and ask for money. He said, gold and silver have I none, but what I have, the name of Christ I will give you. And he lifted him up, and he could walk. I don't have gold or silver, but I have a great name. A great name that gives me a level of confidence and courage to be able to face any situation or walk into anywhere. And it opens doors. It does. It opens a lot of doors. It also opens up not just doors, avenues to be able to achieve things, because I'm not trying to achieve them to live a life of luxury, because that is not wealth. I am not trying to open doors or walk down avenues to live a life of surplus. Surplus in terms of waste. I want to create surplus to create wealth. And when we want to create wealth, we're talking about a culture. That understanding we need to create that culture of wealth. We need to, and when I say culture of wealth, we need to understand that certain things and certain areas of our lives or around us or our environment need to be turned around in such a way that it becomes part of us. I'll give you a good example. Very stupid one, actually. When we're talking cocoa and chocolate, Nigerians are fond of trying to pull things down, or Africans. And the first thing they say, oh, but chocolate is not part of our culture. And I'll say to them, tell me, is jollof rice part of your culture? They'll say yes. I say, is the rice your food? The most staple food in Nigeria, for instance, bread or rice, it's not a product that belongs to anywhere in Africa. But one way or the other, we have adopted it. We have taken it over, built a culture around it, and it has created a lot for us. A long time ago, I was on a flight. I was with a Greek gentleman who works with Coca-Cola. And he said to me, Nigeria is an amazing country. See, this is what I'm talking about when I'm saying definition. He said, Nigeria is the only country that he's found peanuts in bottles and water in sachets. That so-called sachet water has created several job opportunities in the billions of naira and has opened up a lot of, what I can say, opportunities to create something that we can almost say beyond wealth. Yes, it's a necessity. In some parts of the country, water is not sold out of their religion or their faith. But somehow or the other, I won't say capitalism, but necessity has created us to create business out of our God-given things. So we need to start learning how to understand. I'm not sure what my time is, I don't know. So we need to start learning and understanding how to define things for the purpose of wealth creation. We need to be able to define what we want. We need to be able to give an identity to who we are or what we want to do. We need to also be able to know that a good name is better than anything. Good names last. We need to be able to understand the reasons that it's all about building a legacy that lives beyond us, that lives beyond our children, even our children's children. I'm a 4th or 5th generation of cocoa producing family. So it's not even about my great-great-grandfather's grandchildren. It's way beyond that. And I am not sure why I was asked to speak first, but when I saw the lineup of the speakers, I know there's so many experts in different areas around this. But then, I hope one way or the other, I've been able to just sort of create some problems that need to be spoken about for the rest of the day. Thank you very much.
What a day it's been. How amazing has it been? I'm tired, but at the same time excited at the possibilities. It's gone so well, better than I expected, and everyone is really engaged. Everyone was engaged and wanting to take the next action. So now I'm looking forward to evaluating the event, because it's important to always learn from how things have gone and to improve it for next year. So I'm looking forward to welcoming you next year and for you to just join in, and let's live beyond wealth and let's give back and make the lives of other people better as well.